Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky. In today's episode, I'm going to break down everything that's about to go down at UFC Abu Dhabi, Robert Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. This fight card is absolutely stacked. It has something for everyone. You have two former champs in Whittaker and Yan. You have a two-division champ in de Ridder from another promotion. You have ranked guys up and down the card. You have really fun stylistic matchups, and you have the introduction of probably the greatest grappler who has ever lived fighting in this event too. Yeah, and we'll get to him in a moment. So this fight card is stacked. I would give it an A. If you're wondering where my co-host MMA Milo is, he's unavailable today, but he will be available for the next show we do. So let's jump right into it. Again, it's an absolutely stacked card, and we'll start from the top, work our way all the way down to the prelims. The main event, Robert the Reaper Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. This is an incredible matchup. De Ridder, like I mentioned, he is a two-division champion in one championship. He is 20-2. Let me check the odds real quickly. He is a plus 119 underdog. Robert Whittaker is a minus 145 favorite. De Ridder, he is 20-2. His only two losses in his career were to the same guy who actually holds the belt or held the belt recently in one championship. He is a much bigger guy. And that's the only person to whom he's ever lost. He's coming to the UFC. He's 3-0 in the UFC, progressively getting better in terms of the competition. He has a lot of finishes on his record. And let me take a look at how many finishes. I know he has a higher finish rate than Robert Whittaker. He has, let's see here. He has 18 finishes out of his 20 wins. And he does this via grappling. He is an exceptional grappler. We saw him, he submitted Gerald Meerschaert in his debut. He, quickly subbed Kevin Holland and then handled Bo Nickel quite easily. And the one problem, however, and this is where the significant advantage is going to come for Robert Whittaker, he's not a very good striker. If you watched the first fight in the UFC, he wasn't dominant on his feet against an older Gerald Meerschaert. And that's problematic because Robert Whittaker, we know what he is. He's an elite level striker, great kicks, great punches, throws in good combinations, really likes to play at range, and he's a decent grappler as well. So he's not going to be out of his realm too much if this fight goes to the ground. But I think Robert Whittaker, it's going to be the hand speed. He's going to be so much faster. And when you look at Robert Whittaker, he is the third greatest middleweight in history, right behind Anderson Silva and then Israel Adesanya. And we'll see how well Dricus du Plessis does in his title run to see if he, moves up the ranking in terms of that all-time middleweight ranking. But as of now, Robert Whittaker is the third best to ever do it. And this is a massive step up in competition. Now, Whittaker, he is 26-8, but he's fought much better competition. They just don't have the same caliber of athletes at one championship. They don't have the same caliber of athletes at any other promotion. So the fact, though, that Robert Whittaker has been fighting the elite of the elite at the UFC, I think goes a long ways when you're trying to think about how this fight might go. We know he's going to be a better striker. We know he's going to have faster hands, even at 34 years old, because Reinier de Ridder is 34 years old as well. And he also looked really slow in the Meerschaert fight. Slow on the feet, still, an elite level grappler. Great matchup. These are two, I haven't checked their rankings. We know what Whittaker is, but I think de Ridder has broken into the top 10 as well. I'm actually not sure on that. I need to check that. But nonetheless, great fight. But give me Robert Whittaker by a pretty dominant third round TKO. There might be a time in that first round where de Ridder is actually able to get Whittaker on the ground and might have some success and can steal a round off him. But I think this is going to be the Robert Whittaker show all day. All right, next up, we have Petr Yan versus Marcus McGhee. And this is a great co-main event. This is a fight night card. It's not a pay-per-view. So this is, again, absolutely stacked for a fight night card because it was supposed to be Movsar Evloev against Aaron Pico. I believe it was Evloev who had to or was unable to compete in this matchup. But that was, I mean, a title eliminator for him at least. He would have got the next title shot with the win there. But let's break this fight and let me break this fight down and let me get in the odds. Petr Yan is a minus 400. Marcus McGhee a plus 300. Marcus McGhee, I mean, he's looked good. I believe he's 10-1, and I'm going to take a quick look here. Let me just double check. Yeah, he's 10-1. Petr Yan is 18-5. Marcus McGhee, he gets finishes. And I'm just going to double check here. Yeah, 9 out of his 10 wins have come by finish. He's looked excellent since he's come to the UFC. He is 4-0 in the UFC. But it's been against some pretty low-level competition until his last fight against Jonathan Martinez. But he's still undefeated in the UFC. He is an excellent fighter. He's pretty well-rounded, has some pretty quick hands despite his age. But he's going up against Petr Yan. And, you know, I just mentioned he's 35. And I kept thinking Petr Yan was older. And I'm going to look at his age just again. I'm going to click on the second. He's only 32. He's been around for so long, and he was so dominant so long ago that you might think he's older, and I did. But the key phrase that I just mentioned there was when he was dominant. The fact that he was dominant in the UFC against the best guys in the world tells you where I think this fight is going to go. I think this is going to be the Petr Yan show. It is possible for Marcus McGhee to steal the first round. We know Yan is a notoriously slow starter, but I think it's just going to be another level of competition. Marcus McGhee seems like the coolest guy in the world. He skates. He's, seems like a really likable guy. But I think, I'm going to be rooting for him, but I think Petr Yan is just going to put it on him. So give me Yan by a pretty one-sided decision. All right. Next up, we have Bryce Mitchell versus Said Nurmagomedov. Great matchup again. Said Nurmagomedov, he's a really good striker. He is 18-4. Bryce Mitchell, he is 17-3. He is coming down from featherweight. He's making his bantamweight debut. And I think this is a really good move for him. He was taking too much punishment against the bigger guys. We saw what happened when he faced Ilia Topuria. We saw what happened when he faced Josh Emmett and Gene Silva. And they all put him out pretty badly. Now, granted, those are some of the hardest hitters in the division, particularly when, actually all of them, but I was going to say particularly Topuria and Emmett. We look at Mitchell. I'm looking at Sayed's stuff now. Let me go back to Mitchell. So Mitchell, yeah, he is 17-3. He's only 30 years old. And remember, he was a top 10 guy at featherweight until he ran into some trouble. And, he's been alternating wins and losses. Yeah, I'm looking at this now. Ilya, he lost. He beat Dan Ige. That was pretty close, though. Lost pretty badly to Josh Emmett, beat Kron Gracie, and then lost to Gene Silva. Before that, he was on quite the run. He is a really good grappler. He's not a good striker. And I think being a bigger guy coming down a weight division for him, I don't think it's going to be a crazy weight cut. And I think it's actually going to be pretty advantageous for him. Sometimes when a guy comes down in weight, you're always going to, into a lower weight class, you're always going to wonder what's that chin going to be like going down. I think it's going to help him. And when I look at Said Nurmagomedov, he's actually the older fighter at 33. He's 18-4. He's coming off a loss to Vinicius Oliveira, but I think Oliveira's the real deal. I think he's a solid, a solid fighter. I mean, really, really good kicks, has some spinning stuff in his arsenal. Is okay on the ground as well, but I think this is going to be a good matchup for Bryce Mitchell. I think it is possible that Said Nurmagomedov can tag him up on the feet, maybe early in the first round, but I think Mitchell is going to get it to the ground. I think Mitchell's going to sub him. Give me Mitchell by third round submission, and let me get the odds for you real quickly. Let me just pull this up, and let's see. I do not have the odds on here. So sorry, the odds are not popping up on here. I don't know what the odds are, but I'm taking Bryce Mitchell. And before that, we have Shara Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. And I do have the odds for this. Shara Bullet is a minus 660. Ooh, that's pretty big odds. I would make it a little bit closer, but I think he is going to style on Barriault. I think Barriault is a little too slow, a little too plodding. I believe he is 35 years old right now. Well, I can always just look at my phone and just see exactly how old he is. I don't know why that had to be so mysterious, but he is 17-9. Shara Magomedov is 15-1, and he is going to have a ridiculous speed advantage. And we saw what he can do when he can put punches together. I mean, he had the one incredible spinning double spinning back fist, which was one of the highlights of the year. He's really good at range, really good at distance. I think he's going to dance around Marc-Andre Barriault. Yes, he is 36 years old. And I think he is going to light him up on the feet. I think it's going to be the accumulation of damage. Originally, I was thinking that it might go the distance just because Marc-Andre Barriault is so tough. But I think it's going to be the speed, the volume, everything's going to be a problem for him. Give me Shara Magomedov by third round TKO. All right, let's see. What do we have before that? Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Guskov 17-3. Krylov 30-10. But what we should know is among those 30 wins, 28 of which are by finish. And let's see. And Bogdan, he is a knockout artist. He hits hard, but I don't think he has much else to his game there. I mean, he's had I think he's had some surprising success in the UFC. I think this is a pretty bad matchup for him. I think Krylov is going to close the distance. He's going to get him on the ground. I think he's going to sub him in the first round. And it's going to be, give me Nikita Krylov by first round submission. And Krylov is a -200 favorite. Bogdan plus 160. All right. And here's the odds for Bryce Mitchell. I was reading this out of order, so I have no idea where on the card this is going to be. But Bryce Mitchell is a -127 favorite. Sayed Nurmagomedov plus 103. All right. Next up, we have Muslim Solikov versus Carlos Lil. I think the odds are kind of crazy on this. Lil is -500. Solikov is plus 360. I get it. Solikov is 41 years old, but he is coming off a win, and he has some incredible spinning back kicks still at this age, and anything can happen. Carlos Lil, I think his value might be a little overinflated simply because he had that fight against was it Reinier? I'm trying to remember against whom, but it was a surprise. People were surprised how well he did, and I think he got robbed on that. I think he won the fight, but he was given the loss. I need to refresh my memory there, but Lil 22-6, Solikov 21-5. I'm gonna go against the grain. I know everybody's picking Lil. I'm thinking Muslim Solikov. One more spinning back kick to the face, just like he did in his last fight, and that will happen in the third round. But I'm probably going to be wrong. All right, before that, Ibo Aslan versus... Oh, wait, I am skipping. And sorry, I am bouncing between two different sites, so I'm not getting really good consistency here. Let me bring up this fight, because this is one of the best fights on the card. Asu Alambayab versus Jose Ochoa. Asu -108, Ochoa -114. I mean, this is such a good matchup. Asu is a really good grappler. He's looked really good. He is coming off a loss. It is a loss against Manel Kape now. Keep in mind, Manel Kape has the fastest hands in the UFC. He has incredible power. He can put anybody out at any given time. A loss to him is, is not indicative of his skill set or where he can go in this division. But Jose Ochoa hits hard, really hard. The problem is he's taken this on short notice, flying across the world. Asu has been training for this. My mind is saying Asu. My heart is saying Ochoa. I'm going with my heart because I like how hard this guy hits. I think he might catch him. He might catch him early, relatively early. Give me Ochoa by second round TKO. All right, just a couple more fights to get through. Before that, we have Amanda Ribas versus Tabatha Ricci. Amanda Ribas is -105. Tabatha Ricci plus 150. And for this to be pretty far down on the prelims, just shows you how strong this card is for a fight night card. It is pretty amazing. Both women are really high level fighters. I believe they're both still ranked. I'm not going to pull up a third site. I think I'm too lazy for that. But I think Tabatha Ricci, give me the underdog. Give me Tabatha Ricci by decision. Before that, we have Ibo Aslan, Billy Elikana. All right, both these guys can throw the heat. Aslan, I mean, hits really hard. He is a minus 250 favorite. Elikana, Elikana, a plus 205 underdog. The problem is Aslan is not a good grappler. We saw him get handled by Kutalaba, but then again, when Kutalaba sticks to a good game plan, he's pretty decent. He's actually really dangerous. So I don't know how much to read into that. Elikana is the better grappler, but give me Ibu just to catch him in the first round. Give me Ibu Aslan by first round knockout. All right, couple more fights. We have Muhammad Yahya versus Stephen Wynn. Yahya, a plus 260 underdog, Wynn a minus 330. Yahya is the local guy. He is actually from United Arab Emirates. So this is, he's going to be in his backyard, which is really cool. And then the problem is, though, he hasn't had a win in the UFC, and neither has Wynn. But I think Wynn's looked a little bit better. Give me Wynn by third round TKO. And then we have, let's see, here it is, Damon Blackshear versus Davy Grant. This is a fun matchup. Blackshear is a minus 330 underdog. Davy Grant plus 250. I'm sorry, favorite. Minus 330 favorite. Davy Grant is a plus 255 underdog, and it makes sense. Davy Grant is old. He still looked good. I mean, he is still delivering in the UFC. He's one of those crafty veterans, always dangerous. I mean, he does hit hard. He's 39 years old, but I think Blackshear is just too good of a grappler, and he's starting to find his rhythm and his groove in the UFC. Had some struggles early on in his career, but I think he's good, and I think he's going to get it done. Give me Blackshear by second round submission. And now for one of the fights that I'm most excited for. I teased earlier, one of the greatest grapplers in human history is joining the UFC, and he makes his debut, and he's coming up against Martin Buday, who is a plus 240, and Marcus Almeida, Buchecha is his nickname, is a minus 310 favorite. Now, let me talk about Almeida for a moment to understand how good this guy is a grappler. If you've watched the show, I've always said Rodolfo Vieira is hands down, unequivocally, the best grappler in the UFC, or at least when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? Multiple world championships. He is the elite of the elite. And if you look at his grappling record in terms of, just the handful of losses he's had in individual matches, and to where he's maybe lost a world championship here or there, there's only one guy that's beat him more than once. And there's one guy who's beat him 4 times, and it's this guy, Marcus Almeida. And he's a bigger dude. He's going to come in weighing about 250, and this dude is a ripped 250. I mean, he kind of looks like Tom Aspinall. I'm not saying he has Tom Aspinall's skill set. I mean, we definitely know he doesn't on the feet. But in terms of jiu-jitsu, he's as good as it gets. So he's 35 years old. He's coming into the sport a little bit later. But the fact that he's coming at heavyweight, I don't think is a problem at all. I mean, we've seen guys at heavyweight have success late into their, career, late 30s, sometimes early 40s, depending, because it's always that, you have that knockout power. And even though his game is not, throwing that big punch, he's going to be so much faster than I think a lot of these guys. And he's going up against Martin Buday. Buday is not a bad heavyweight. He's not a good heavyweight either. He's 6-1 in the UFC, but that's been against some pretty low level competition. But he is big. I mean, he is massive. He comes in, I think he comes in at 265, and I think he might have to cut some weight to get there. He's just a really massive dude. He's a pretty decent boxer, but he has some pretty poor footwork, I should say. He actually has some, I don't know if he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well, but it doesn't matter, because when it comes to jiu-jitsu, there are levels, and Buchecha has so many levels above him. I mean, this is going to be an absolute massacre. I think I've heard a lot of people picking Buday because he has that UFC experience, and I don't think it's a problem. I think Buchecha is such a beast that even if he pulls guard, I think it will actually work for him, at least on the lower level heavyweights in the UFC. I think he's going to do some damage in the top 10. I see Buchecha to be a top 5 fighter probably within a year. This is one to watch. Give me Buchecha by first round submission. And that's all I have. Let me know who you think is going to win in the main event and any of the fights. So please comment, like, and subscribe. And that's all I have. I'm out.